Hello everybody and welcome to Time Traveler's Coin Exchange. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to go back in time about 162 years, 163 in this case, but we have a roll of 50 Flying Eagle cents. They're the first small cents in United States history. And around 1856, maybe even 1855, there's been a couple patterns, but officially the first issued one was at 1857, and there was some 1856s that went to kind of small private collectors. Only special people, I feel like, got them at that time back in history. But we're going to go through this roll and take a look at them. And so this is the first one we have here. And most of these are, these are not going to look like the coins that we have been looking at for the last month or so. But I wanted to share them with you guys, and I had a request to look at some of them. So this is at 1858. And so starting in 1857, they started making these for people. And the reason they said was, it's too cumbersome to have these large cents. Before the Flying Eagle cent, coins were much larger. They were about the size of a quarter. And the government said, hey, we're going to make these for you guys because obviously these heavy coins in your pockets, they're weighing you down and it's just cumbersome. And in reality, the reason that they started making these was it cost the U.S. Mint more money to make the 100 coins than they were actually worth, and so it was costing them money to make money, unlike today. And so by doing this, they were able to all of a sudden start making money off of it. And I find the coin extremely attractive. I love the design of the eagle. We'll look at some different ones here, and the quality is, hopefully we'll get some nice quality ones in here. I picked 50 at random, and so this one's got a little bit more detail on it. It had a note on it that there was an error on the coin, and I believe what it is, if I flip it directly over, we can see the eagle like this, and if I flip it over, the die is rotated about 89 degrees, about 90 degrees. Pretty good rotation. Not every one of these has it like this. Hey, Les Likes Coins, welcome. Doing pretty good. Going through some Flying Eagles. Hello, Miss Queen. How are you doing, Les Likes Coins? Welcome. Good morning. Good afternoon. Pretty much all of these, Miss Queen, pretty much all of these I got from eBay. They're one of my favorite coins, and so I've been collecting them for a long time. Most of the videos here that I do, I've gotten this stuff directly off of eBay. I just had these in my collection, and so I was going to share them with you guys today. And so there'll be a variety of different conditions here. I would say most of them would probably qualify as a cull to AG. We might find some that are in a little bit better condition. I didn't take any time really specifically looking at how nice the coins were or if they were gradable. I just grabbed 50 of them, so it's kind of blind pick for me today too. I would say these coins right now on eBay, I have noticed that the price has kind of dropped on them. There's quite a few of them you can get for under 10 bucks, and I recommend having someone add them to their collection. It's completely up to you what you like to collect, but I don't see any more of these being made. And so this one, the condition is pretty good. I'd say there might be some pitting in the reverse that might give it like an environmental damage grade, but otherwise, like, it would almost seem like it would be gradable. And I believe that's environmental damage. Almost looks like someone could have been, using it for carpentry, and those could be tiny nail holes. But this is an important coin, in my opinion, because this is the first time the U.S. government devalued our currency. So in 1858, they, reduced the worth of a penny to the amount of copper that it's worth. And they wouldn't do this again until, I I believe it was like 1922 when we went off of the gold standard, and the U.S. dollar was no longer worth its value in gold. And then we would have another devaluation in 1964 when we started to remove silver from the content, and then by the time 1969 hit, we went from 90% silver to 40% silver in our coinage. The dime stopped being silver. The quarter stopped being silver. And then I think the government needs money. And so what did they do after that? They're looking around and they're saying, okay, well, we've taken the silver, we've reduced the copper. How else? This one looks like it's, oh no, that's just the way it looks in the flip. I was going to say it almost looks like it's off-center struck, but that's not, that's just the flip. But in 1982, our government once again removed essentially 95% of the copper content and replaced it with zinc. So really, all of the wealth has been removed from our money, and now we're completely based on a faith system of this paper and these, essentially worthless coins being worth money. But it's very interesting, and if you look in history, this happens in the decline of a civilization. This doesn't happen when a civilization is moving forward. Every time in history, from Roman times to current times, that the precious metal content is removed from the country's currency. It's the decline. It's getting towards the end. It's when the government's getting desperate for money. So, little heads up. Not trying to be a conspiracy theorist for you guys. Hey, eMen99 TV, welcome. 4 thumbs up, thank you. And so, like, if you take the Roman Empire, they were strapped for money. Rome wasn't able to support all of they had expanded so much, and they weren't able to, I believe they had, moved on over into the African continent, and, they were working on the world. But they couldn't support everything, and it was a very top-heavy bureaucratic system. And so what did they start doing? They started to slowly remove the silver content from the coins. And so while other places in the world were using much higher percentage silver coins, they started to remove it. And so if you have earlier coins from the Roman Empire, they had a higher silver content, higher precious metal content, and it was a way that they could essentially make money from other people's money. So that's one of the reasons I find this coin really important in history, is that it was the beginning of the decline. And declines and ascensions, it's not just an event that happens in a day. We could have 100 years left, we could have 500 years left. We just don't know until it happens. Hey, Shannon McCord, welcome. I hope you are having a delicious lunch. You're welcome to join me with these 50 eagles. We're only a few coins in here. So most of these, my guess, at one point I was trying to play Pokemon with this coin, and I attempted to buy up the entire market. I bought every single one from every collector that I knew of. I bid on every one on eBay, and had more Flying Eagles on eBay than every other listing of every other person combined. I was always in that search for an original bank bag of these, but they didn't exist back then. They didn't make 5,000 count bags of Flying Eagles, and so I had to take it upon myself to make one myself. And so it's not an original bank bag, but I will tell you guys there exists one bag of 5,000 count Flying Eagles in this world that I know of. There might be more, and I'll try to keep track. Some of these flips I wrote down just some things that I saw. I thought this one had one on it, but it didn't. And so primarily if you're collecting, there's a 1857 and 1858, and there's a small and a large letters. Pretty much the small and the large letters, it's defined by the space between the A and the M in America. And so it's kind of like a close AM in a modern Lincoln Memorial cent, and a close AM and a wide AM. And this one says damage on it. I was going to say it almost looks like there's a cut on it, but the coin says damage. But we can see a little bit more of the details in this coin. And so if you guys are a collector, this is one of the easiest sets to collect with a caveat, because it's only a two-year series with a variety of two different, a wide and a close AM technically, or a smaller and a large date. It's a really easy set to collect, and they're not expensive. The caveat is that there is a 1856 Flying Eagle cent, and they're extremely rare. Like I can't quite remember. I feel like when I started collecting, $600 was the cheapest for a damaged one that you could acquire, and I think that it's gone up into the thousands of dollars. That was one of the reasons that I bought so many of these, is that I was hoping to find a damaged one that was actually a 1856. Possibly one without a date on it. I believe the reverse on that one is just a little bit different. And I think I have like a pile of ones that like I can't identify if if it is a 56 or a 58, and I'm sure I have plenty of ones with no date on it as well. And so most of these that you'll encounter have environmental damage. Most of them I feel like have been found metal detecting. Some of them have been cleaned, probably a good portion of them have been cleaned. Hey Perry Art 420, welcome. We're looking at a roll of Flying Eagle cents. I had a request. I asked in the last stream if there was anything that anyone would like to see, and I apologize, I don't have a roll of beautiful mint state Flying Eagles. I don't have a roll of proof Flying Eagles. That sure would be cool. If anyone's got a roll of those for sale, let me know. I'd be interested. Nice, you got some. What roles were you searching through? I'll have to check that out. Do you have a video of it? This one looks like it was almost gradable, except for there's a scratch on United and a couple. And so the Flying Eagle set was actually one of the first coins that I started getting graded at PCGS. And I found that even ones that aren't gradable, like say maybe one in a little bit better condition than this, they sell really well, just authenticated and in a genuine slab. I feel like you can sell them for $20-30. I'm not sure if PCGS will grade in bulk, but I would love to just send a bunch of the ones that look a little bit better, even if they get a genuine grade. We can see some environmental damage on here. There's a little bit of green, and a bunch of the details have been worn with time. It happens when it's a 160-year-old coin. Nice. So it looks like for the most part we are going to be looking at the various kinds of damage a coin can accrue over a 160-year time span. And there is a couple double dies for these coins as well. I'm trying to remember his name. I know his last name is Snow, but he is the authority on Flying Eagle cents. He's written books, and I believe he goes by Eagle Eyes, or like EERC, on the internet. But pretty much most of the varieties are named after him, so it'll be a snow variety this, a snow variety that. He's a really great resource. I've reached out to him a couple times and he answered questions that I had. I'd like to see him here on YouTube if he's not already. Nice. I have been having an itch to do some bank rolls. Every time I go to the bank, I'm like, can I have a roll? And honestly, it's like since I started doing the streaming on the first, like I had some pretty good spare time before I started streaming, and all of a sudden, it's my life is getting busier and busier and busier. Like I was saying yesterday, I've got like a pile of dishes. Just barely remembered to get the trash out today. Looks like this one has a rotated die as well, maybe about 40 degrees. I feel like while there are collectors that enjoy the rotated dies, I feel like they are more common for these earlier years. The way that they made the coins wasn't quite as precise. There was more things that could happen. I still enjoy finding a wheat penny in a roll. At one time when I was getting customer wrapped rolls or just boxes of pennies, for like a month period, I kept finding these like foreign silver coins, and it's not something I think most people like expect to find in a roll of pennies. But someone had somehow a bunch of like foreign silver coins that were about penny size. They were more dime size, made it into all these rolls, and most of them were like about 70 years old, and so I sold them on eBay, and it was a pretty good deal. I was definitely happy. I still haven't found a gold coin in a roll of pennies, but I think it could happen. A tenth of an ounce feels like it would fit very nicely into one. Kind of thinking about making another go on the market on eBay. I see, like I went and like I always kind of review the sales of things, and it seems like the price has kind of dipped on them. Like I feel like I saw over 200 of them sold for under $10 within the last viewing period that I can see for sold history. It's probably about 3 months. And so, that's a good amount of chunk. By the time I played Monopoly or Pokemon with this coin, I had driven the price up to about $18 for a cull. Anybody who had a nice hoard of them was making a pretty penny off of these. And so now that the price has dipped and the market has calmed down, I'm probably going to take another go at these. So if anybody out there has a hoard of these, it might be a good time to spill them on the market. And this was pretty much the project that I was working on before I started buying higher graded slabbed coins, because I kind of shifted from buying these raw, and then after grading a bunch of them, I was like, it's just easier and cheaper to buy graded ones. And so I bought pretty much every single graded one that was within a reasonable price off of eBay. And so that kind of was my first time buying a lot of higher graded coins, and then I just started to buy everything, and now my business on eBay is what it is. I've got about 3,000 slabbed coins. And I'll tell you, selling a slabbed coin is a lot easier than selling raw coins. You don't have to determine the grade, you don't have to worry about all that, you just have to come to a price point that's agreeable for both the buyer and the seller. This one looks like it has some really nice details on it, but it's got some damage. As you guys can see, of course, I've got a pretty nice looking one above my head. I think this one, the one above my head, is I think it's a very fine. I think it's a very fine 35. But the tail feathers and the C and the A are doubled on it. There's a couple things going on the coin which made me pull it out. And I don't think, maybe I can do a video on that one in the future. But there are some cool doublings on these. There's one that there's a double die where the eye, it's got two eyes on it. It looks pretty cool. I bought these to resell them originally, but then I messed with the market just a little bit too hard, and so I kind of decided to like cool it a little while, and so this is actually the first time any of these coins have been seen, and these are going to go up on eBay afterwards. This is the first time any of these coins will be on eBay in a few years now. But this one is probably has the nicest details. It's got some obvious damage. I think it looks like it has some glue to it as well. But we can actually see some of the details. It was a really beautiful coin. Hey Bernard, welcome. Good to have you here. Thank you for coming to the channel. I probably wouldn't get a toner graded unless it was like, like MS66 or better. But people really do like toned coins. If it's got any damage on it, I'd also, try to make sure that it's a naturally toned coin. If it's been like heat toned or like exposed to like different chemicals, it's just going to come back as a genuine. If it's absolutely beautiful and unique in its own way, it might be worth something to somebody. People do love beautiful coins. Now this one has counter stamp is I believe what it's called for this, and I'm having a little trouble seeing the third. That might actually be like a 5. That might be a Roman numeral there. And maybe it's just a V. Maybe it's CCV. But these counter stamps were a couple different things. Different stores and stuff would put them on them. And like different merchants would use these counter stamps. And people would also stamp their coins. They'd stamp their initials. So kind of like, this is my coin, so that if it was stolen, I have a long story to tell you some other time, maybe not on the stream here, but it's like that question of, hey, that's mine, and the other person says, well, I don't see your name on it. And this was a way that people were able to, it was kind of an insurance, why would someone else have a coin with your name on it if it was theirs? There also appears to be some graffiti on it, early attempt at an anarchy symbol there at the top, and a beautiful example of what can happen to a coin with a nice scratch running along it. Pretty nice details on here, and the counter stamp, there's definitely people that collect these. There's people that like to have, okay, so here we have the counter stamp with a better example, so it's CCW. And so there's actually resources online where you can go and look up and find out who CCW was. I could make up something like it's the Connecticut Commonwealth, but I don't think Connecticut was a Commonwealth. I know Massachusetts was a Commonwealth. It's always interesting. It's like you say the state of Massachusetts, but it's the Massachusetts Commonwealth. Just one of those weird things. It's like, we're not a state, we're a Commonwealth. Or are we? And so unfortunately I don't know who CCW was or what CCW was for a business here. It would have been a fun thing to look up before, but there are a lot of resources, and so there are people that collect counter stamps, because it kind of ties, it gives it a little provenance, it ties it to a place and time and person. Um, and so there is a story behind that coin. You guys are in a circle of death? I'm so sorry. And someone took some target practice at this one here. This flying eagle has been scratched and shot. I mean, I believe this was like cold. Surprisingly, one of the best-selling low-grade flying eagles that I had was any coin that had a hole in it. They seem to have a good market value, or they sell really well, even in cold condition, simply because there's people that like to make jewelry out of these. So it looks like this one took a nail from the reverse. We can see the depression in the front. I'm actually surprised. I don't feel like I saw it. It must come out the front. Maybe they used a tool to smooth it down. It does look like it's a smooth down. But these sold really well. I'd have people asking, hey, can I get 50 of these? Can you give me ones with nice clean holes? Because they do make some beautiful jewelry. I've got a pair of cufflinks that are made out of flying eagles. If only I had a coat to wear them with. Just doesn't seem like they make cufflinks in them. We have a half with Tucker stamped on it. Cool. Well, part of me would like to, if it wasn't like a felony every time I did it, I'd love to get a stamp myself, and just any pocket change I have, just give a nice stamp to it. It's kind of a sin as a coin collector to do, but I'd love to get like a time traveler's coin exchange stamp. I guess the other idea that I had to it was that instead of damaging coins, there's a lot of companies out there that will make you coins. Looks like this one has a rotated die. No, maybe it's just I think this one just took a little trip around in a circle in the flip. So this one's pretty worn here, but I was thinking about possibly contracting a company to make time traveler coin exchange like tokens. I'm not going to call them money. I'm not going to attempt to make my own currency. Don't want to get in trouble with the feds. We all know what happens when you try to create your own system. It's a big no-no. I'm pretty sure, I don't think they changed the law, like you can't melt down pennies for their copper value, even though the value of copper is above what the penny is worth. The best way around that is people love the pennies, and people love copper, and so you can, I have a Rydale coin sorter, and it'll separate the copper coins from the zinc. And you don't melt them down, you just put them in a bag and sell them as a 5,000 count bag of pennies. And you can usually get about a 50% premium on the copper. There's people that, as there are silver stackers, there are copper stackers. And they just want to hoard these coins. And so you can separate the copper. When I was going to school, I had an art degree, and I worked with bronze a lot, and there was definitely a part of me that wanted to make my own coins. It was one of the reasons that I did the art, because I wanted to make my own coins. But where I went, they just didn't have quite the resources to make coins. So maybe in the future sometime, maybe I'll contract some things out. I was thinking it would be a fun thing to kind of give as a souvenir whenever someone bought something off of my store. Maybe make it exchangeable for credit at the store, but then I was like, well, for them to return it to me, it would cost money. This one almost looks, I know this one looks terrible here. It's very smooth. Maybe it would say polished, but it almost looks like an AG coin. It's just very nice, well worn. It's sometimes it's surprising that super smooth ones, they're actually gradable, which makes them worth more money than one that's damaged. Thank you. Welcome, Marler family. Nice to see you here. Yeah, if you guys don't know each other, feel free to get to know each other. I know all you guys here. You guys are all good people. We're a good community of people here. Take a look at the next one here. This is a smoothie too. It's like when I go back older than this, I mean, it's like some of the coins I have from the 1700s, like the colonial ones. It's they are so smooth. I'm just like, and check out this beautiful hunk of smooth metal. It's just, I don't even feel like I'm looking at a coin. I'm just looking at this smooth piece of metal with a little bit of history. Just because most of the colonial coins, by the time you get really good detail on them, they're definitely worth more than a pretty penny or pence or whatever they were. But it's definitely, I love the history behind all the coins because it just, it helps you tie, I don't know, by like, since they have a date on them, it puts them in a time in history, and then it just seems like all the facts just start to stick to that date. It's when I start to know things like this is like, you know, very close to like Civil War time here. And I don't know, there's a lot of people who collect like Civil War coins. This one's got some really nice details. Unfortunately, it looks like it's been struck by a nail. Looks like someone was trying to hole this. We can see a depression in the front, and then we can see a part like trying to poke up, so I'm guessing there is a knock at the reverse as well. And apparently this person did not have the tools to achieve their desired outcome. Well, it is possible probably to do it. I don't think you could use a lead nail. You would need a very, very strong nail to get through the copper, because I believe copper is a stronger, less malleable metal than lead is. I believe most nails were made out of lead at that time. I'm not a nail professional here. That's just my thought. When I was younger, most of the coins or most of the nails that I used were made out of lead, and I feel like things have kind of like moved forward with like a stainless steel, and you know, just higher quality, harder. Almost seems like lead lasted better. This one definitely had some environmental damage. This one looks like it came out of the ground. It's kind of like one of those pennies that you get metal detecting and you're like trying to brush off the dirt just to be able to see what it actually was. But if there's any of you guys out there that do like roll searches with pennies and you're hardcore about it, I do recommend Rydale. It'll save you so much time. I think they can sort 18,000 pennies in like an hour. And first you set it to separate the copper from the zinc pennies, and then you can put in older worn wheat cent, and it'll separate all of the older wheat cents from the newer ones. Just because of the natural wear that the coins get, it separates them by the weight, and so it's a really valuable tool. It can save you a lot of time if you don't care about the zinc coins. It can save you a lot of time. I will warn you though, they are noisy. I was thinking about making a video of it, and then I was just like, I'm gonna make people deaf. I wasn't sure what you guys were all going to think about these older coins, simply because I'd been showing you guys really nice, pretty, shiny coins, really nice proof coins, and you know, mint coins still in their mint cellos. But it's nice to see you guys have some interest in these too. If you guys are wanting to see more of these, I do have more that I can make videos of in the future. I do still have a lot of mint cellos to go through, and that's kind of my current project, but it's nice to switch things up here a little bit. And the reason I've been going through the mint cellos is I'm trying to train my eyes to be able to really spot higher grade coins within the mint sets, because that's where a lot of money is. If you can develop an eye to be able to spot that high grade coin and get it in and verified and authenticated by a third party, you've turned a coin that you can get for under a couple bucks to, you know, whatever. I don't know. It's like most people, I feel like, don't send things in unless they think it's going to be worth $100. I'm happy to work on a margin that's lower than that. If I can make $20 off a coin, I'm happy to do that. I'm not quite big time yet here. Give me another 50 years. Hey, thank you, Perry Art. What have you guys all been up to? Have you guys been making any videos? What's going on your guys' streams and channels? I try to keep up to date with everybody, but I have been making so many friends that sometimes it takes you guys shouting out, like, check this out, to get my attention. And I'm always happy. I love coins. I love to check out what other people are doing. I learn something new every time I do, and I never regret it. And yeah, I'm so glad. When I first got on here on YouTube, as I've said a couple times, I had tunnel vision. I was just making thousands of videos as fast as I could. And I didn't go and explore. I didn't go and see what other people were doing. And since I've done that, I've met so many good friends, and I've learned so much. It's really been priceless. So if you guys, well, you guys are here, so obviously you guys are out exploring. So maybe you guys don't need that advice. Yeah, sometimes the roles at stores are the best. I definitely enjoyed working as a cashier. I feel like my best source, when I was younger, I was a paper boy for like multiple lifetimes. And I definitely remember that sound of like running my route and having a pocket full of silver because we had to collect from the customers. And it was actually kind of brilliant. Like, they could have made like a week's worth of papers like $2, but they made it $2.10. And so there was always change involved unless the person was kind and, you know, gave you a 90-cent tip. But I definitely, that was one of the best jobs I ever did. You work like an hour a day, and I would like clear like $200 a week. And this was a long time ago. It was definitely worth it. I remember my next job after that was working full time. I think I made $3.45 an hour, and after taxes I would clear $140 working 40 hours a week. You guys do the math. $140 for 40 hours, or 7 hours for 200. Yeah. And on top of that, the newspaper company wanted people to save money, and they gave you 10% interest on any money in your account. And then the banks back then, remember when you had money in the bank and it would accrue interest? 5% interest. So I was making 15% interest off of every dollar I had in my bank account. Those were the days. Those definitely the days. You have a horrible vision, only fast internet in the beginning of the month. Or horrible Verizon. I'm sorry, I understand that. I have 3 to upload. Ouch. Excuse me. Yeah, Verizon here has finally, or no, I'm not even on Verizon anymore. But yeah, the internet can be super terrible. For a while, especially with the higher end stuff I was doing on the internet, I thought it was my internet. And then I found out that it was really my computer. Like, I think I'm on like 100 meg or 100 megabytes at the moment, like the plan. And but I was on it before with an older computer, and when I was playing a video game or something, it would be lagging, my screen would be rubber banding, I would disconnect. And then when I got a better computer with a faster processor and more RAM, all of a sudden it was like the internet just like it was open highway. It was awesome. And I'd go into it more, but that would probably take the entire stream. This one almost looks like I don't know. It's interesting, like some of the coins, it totally looks like people used it for like BB gun practice, or I don't know, like for some reason, like in my head, like I imagine like somebody having a pocket full of these and like being in a war and like somebody getting like shot with like buckshot spray or something, and like, you know, one of these coins took a bullet for someone. I hope not. But I know I've heard people say like, you know, coins have a story, and you know, something happened to these. It's like, imagine if coins in the future, they all had like a little microchip inside them that recorded, you know, they all had tiny quantum processors in them, and they could record everything that happened around them, and then you could find out what their story was. It's pretty cool though. Quantum computing is becoming a thing. What's going on there? I'm sure it's just a damage. It almost looks like there is a stray 8 right underneath the talons, like the eagle has just grabbed the 8. But I'm pretty sure it's just a damage. I was pretty excited this morning to wake up, and it looked like my subscribers went over 900, so a shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys for the support. I really, really appreciate it. It seems like just a couple weeks ago I was at like 400, and I've just been working hard trying to go out and meet people and spread the word. And it's amazing what you can do when you reach out to a bunch of people. Networking, if you guys are beginning streaming, it's awesome. There's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat as all of us, and we all can make friends with each other, and if you guys have similar interests, we can learn from each other and share. You know, we all can't do everything, and so it's nice everybody brings a little something different to the YouTube table. And I've just really found it amazing going on YouTube, and it's just amazing how fast we can exchange information in today's world, and how people can so freely and easily share photos and videos with each other. It's just like information it's unlimited. Like if you can think of the question of what you want, YouTube can find the answer for you. It's just really, really cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Marler family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very good to meet you. Hugs to everybody. Hugs are most welcome on this channel. You can just barely see the 8 on this one. It's like a ghost 8. It's interesting, like the one gap that I have in my collection, it's like I have pretty much tons of everything, but I don't have a lot of Indian head cents. I feel like I have like I feel like it's because every time I buy a graded one, I sell 2. It's just as soon as I start to get more, people buy them out on me. I just can't seem to get enough in my collection, and I could buy a bunch of ungraded ones. I'm sure that would be a little bit easier. But I've just found that it's way easier to sell graded coins. There's just more confidence in what it is. I feel like with PCGS, people get super competitive over their registry sets. It's like a video game. Everyone wants to be number 1. I think I'm like, the last I looked in the Lincoln Collection registry set that I had, I think I was like number 9. but I'd love to get into the top 5. And so it's like when people get really competitive in the registry sets, they're, the people. I'm not one of those people that can just pay whatever, but there definitely are. Like, I'm super sad I sold my 1955 Proof 68 Lincoln Wheat cent the other day, and it took me 3 years to get that coin, one of that grade. I saw maybe one on the market, but it went for double what I was able to pay. And so I'm going to miss that one. It's going to probably take me 5 years, and I'm probably going to spend more money on it than I sold it for. But this is the way the world works. Actually, the most expensive penny that I ever sold was a Flying Eagle cent. It was, I believe, in 1858 in MS62 condition. Sorry, I wasn't taking photos and making videos back then. This was probably about 8 years ago. But I sold it for like $800. And it's actually interesting. I think I've seen a couple of them go for like $600 these days, and I was almost like, I should buy that. But there are still mint state ones of these out there, and they're really beautiful. And I guess another interesting thing about the coin is this is the first technical nickel. People refer to these as nickels because it's a copper nickel alloy. And I believe that the reason why they added nickels was that, I can't quite remember how it goes, but basically there was someone with a nickel mine, and they knew someone, and they were able to convince the people making the coin that they should add nickel to it. And so that person was able to make a mint by getting their metal used to make these coins. And I guess it, worked in some ways, because then, they started using nickel for other coins as well. And that is basically how the nickel kind of got the name nickel, because it was made out of nickel. And then I guess, at what point did they, because I guess for just the wartime nickels, those were the only ones that had silver in them, I guess. Actually, if you guys know, like for I'm trying to remember I don't collect nickels particularly, but for before the Jefferson nickel, what were they? Shield nickels? I can't quite remember what the name of them is. You can obviously see that my expertise lies more in pennies. I don't know everything. This one, someone who likes jewelry would probably like. I know anyone that likes to collect them for the numismatic value of them would say this is a horribly damaged coin gone wrong. There's actually people that repair these, and they fill them back in, and they'll take a really nice looking example, and they'll just make that disappear so that they can try to sell it off to someone as a nice coin. A lot of people will do stuff for money. How did you're in right side in computer and show something like that? Are you asking how I'm over here, and that I have 2 different I have my webcam on me, and then I have a microscope cam that I'm using for the coin. And so I use OBS Studios here. It was just the first one that I tried. I know that there's others. OBS is a free tool that you can use, free software. And the awesome thing about it is, on YouTube, you just search, how do I do this? And you get people who make tutorial videos on everything. And so I made a video source, which is me talking. And then I made a video source, and I used this microscope as the source here. And so I just have the microscope open. I can make videos on it, but by doing this way, it just makes it a lot easier, if that answers your question. So I have 2 different cameras going. I almost want to have a third camera going, and instead of having photos I was like the photos above me, I learned how to do video backgrounds. I just didn't have a video background that I wanted to do. And so those are actually placeholders for where I was going to put videos. And then I thought, yeah, I could change up the coins. I could do a slideshow there where I can just have like tons of different coins going behind me. There's infinite things, but I could probably do a different display of what's going on. But for the most part, I want to have the coin that I'm looking at in particular to be the focus of the video. I'm just here to kind of like add a little bit extra to it. At one point after starting to make these videos, I'm like, I don't think people want to see me. I think they just want to see the coin. I should just make the coin bigger. And I almost just took me out of here. I'm like, why is the videos that I made before I added me with the webcam onto here, why are they getting 1,000 views and the ones with me in it getting 10 views? So I almost said bye-bye to myself, but if I'm doing a live stream, it definitely seems like I should be here. But at the same time, leave a comment. If you guys want to see me disappear, I'm happy to disappear. I won't have to brush my hair or shower. It'd be awesome. It's an OBS. It's an open broadcasting system. If you just simply type OBS on into Google or whatnot, I'm sure it comes up as the top thing. But it's like you can use it like, say, when you open up the main control panel on the right side, it'll have a start streaming, start recording. You can just, if you want to record short videos with your webcam and make your webcam the source, you just open up you open it up, hit start recording, then hit stop when you're done talking, and boom, you've got a video, and it's formatted to go right up to YouTube. And if you want to stream, then you need to have a YouTube account, and you need to create sorry, I've only done it once. You need to basically say, hey, I want to stream on here, and set up your stream, and then you go and hit start streaming on. You have to link it. It gives you a code to link the two YouTube to your OBS, and then you can hit start streaming here, and then go live on YouTube. It's always funny. I end the stream, and then I forget to stop streaming, and I'm like, I wonder if anyone's watching. And trying to think, I use a green screen here. So I have a green screen set up in the background behind me. Otherwise, I don't know, I didn't used to use one, but then it's just, not only do I got to brush my hair and take a shower and whatnot, but then I also have to clean up everything and make it look like, and then there's also just, I don't know, privacy, I guess. It just makes me feel like you don't need to show, just because you're on YouTube, you don't need to show the world everything. If you're doing like a sleep stream or something, yeah, there's a reason why, you invite the world into your room. Definitely seems like a great way to get hours, is to just film yourself sleeping. And it's funny, there's people out there that love to watch that. I'm always curious, like, it's like, what do I look like when I stream? Like, what's going on? What did I say? What did I do? So it looks like this one may have been filled. Not a great filling job. Maybe it didn't go all the way through. This one looks like it came out of the ground to me. It's amazing though. It's like you can like any idea you can do these days. It's like with a computer, a webcam, and like OBS and YouTube, it's like you can do anything you want. If you want to eat like cupcakes on camera, people will watch you eat cupcakes on camera. I always thought that would be a good thing for me to do, because like there's people out there that like to like fatten people up, and they'll pay money to fatten people up. But the funny part is I can eat pretty much anything and I don't gain weight. So it's kind of hilarious. This one, a jeweler would probably like. This would make a nice bracelet. It's got someone had a very nice hole making. It looked like they kind of botched it on the bottom, maybe on the top too. But they were able, this is the smallest hole I've ever seen on a penny. They did a very good job. Tiny drill, whatever they used. Sorry, I know that was off topic there. And wow, we've almost got all the way through this. So when I'm done doing this video, these ones are going to go up onto eBay, and I'm going to have to think about what I'm wanting to do in the future with Flying Eagle cents. This one's got, like, I don't know if it's a little bit of environmental damage, but it's got really good details. Pretty sharp looking coin. It's got all of its lettering, it's got most of the details, but for some reason it's a little bit darker. Kind of doesn't show up, I mean, at the same time okay, here we go. Somebody did not like the word 1 cent. Not at all. I mean, I guess it's graffiti, but I mean, that's like completely deliberate. It's alright. It is what it is. You're very welcome. And this poor one, it's lost its head and its wings. It almost looks like it's ready for the oven. Oh, I think is it Rick Snow? I think that's the gentleman who is like the genius or the master of Flying Eagle cents. Sorry, I don't know why his first name was eluding me before, but he is the authoritative person for Flying Eagle cents. He really knows everything, and he is a living legend. He's still with us. That's definitely one of the cool things here on YouTube, is that some of the finest people in the business are still with us. While we've lost a lot of people with a lot of knowledge, there's quite a few guys that are still with us that, you know, we can all learn a lot from. And the even better thing is that they're really friendly and kind folk, and they're happy to share. Very interesting. I hear some things going on outside, and there shouldn't be anything that's going on outside, so it's a good thing we're almost done with this stream, because I'm going to need to go check that out. Hey, Nameless T-shirt, customer screen printing. Welcome. You came just in time. We're just almost to the end of this roll. For the most part, we've looked at 50 fairly worn, damaged, at least one counter-stamped, and quite a few deliberately destroyed coins. We've seen some graffiti, we've seen some holes. Looks like this one may have stopped a bullet. I'm not quite sure what happened to it. But it's like, this is one of those interesting ones that it's like, okay, someone wasn't a carpenter using a nail. It's like, you know, like, that's not a nail punch. Like, that kind of looks like this one stopped a bullet. That's my best guess. I don't know. I mean, that's not just random. Very interesting. How are you doing today, Nameless? You're just in time. This is our last coin of the roll. So I guess I'll take the time here to thank you guys all for joining me today. I wasn't sure what you guys were going to think about these older coins, but I do appreciate you all coming. Thank you for the 9 likes. I definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys, everyone, for coming and saying hello. Tomorrow, I believe I'm going to have a little bit longer of a stream because I got a lot of 200 mint cellos from 1959 to 1964. I thought that they were going to be kind of divided up into years, but it looks like a mix. And so while I normally do an hour stream with about 50 coins, it looks like I might be doing a 200 coin lot tomorrow, just because I like to do these. I know I pulled these out randomly today from my collection, but when I'm buying stuff and I've never seen it before, I don't want to go through and like divide them all up and, you know, see stuff. I want to be happy on camera when I find a good coin, or disappointed when it's like a roll of corroded. It makes it fun for me. I have some of these with no dates on them as well. I definitely have quite a few of them with no date. It happens. With the small and large dates, sometimes you can figure out which date it is just by whether the A and the M are touching or not. But I'll be back tomorrow for what looks like will be a longer stream, and I have not even opened the package yet, so I have no idea what they will look like. But hopefully we'll find some scores tomorrow. I believe they're all business strike, which will be a change from looking at the proofs. But maybe we will find some beautiful high-grade 1959 or 1960 mint state coins tomorrow. It would be fun. But I wish you guys all a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever in the world you guys are, and appreciate you guys all. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Thank you guys for your support. And once I'm done posting this up on eBay, I'm going to come check some of you guys out. Nice. I'd love to see those. If you make videos of coins nameless, I would love to see them. But I'm going to go, and I'm going to get this up on eBay, and then I'm going to come see you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have a beautiful day. Nice to see you here, Nameless. Nice to see you here, the Marler family. Thank you for coming, Perry Art. Thank you, everyone. Have great days. Thanks, Less Likes Coins. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, for Bernard, for joining us today. See you guys in the future.